As the sea levels rose, the delta shape began to look like a circle because of the way the river split. This started around 26 seconds in the video. Toward the end of the video, the delta shape smoothed out and the river stopped flowing in two, and several other branches of the river flattened out. The edge of the delta had a rugged edge at the very end of the video.
While the delta is forming, the river is expanding, but it is also causing the river to meander a lot. At first, the beginning of the river just looked like a big lake and the mouth wasn't that wide, but throughout the video, the river's mouth width catches up to the width of the headwaters. Eventually, the mouth got bigger than the headwaters and stayed like that the rest of the video.
According to my data, the river had the width of 15 centimeters at point 1, 5 centimeters at point 2, and 16 centimeters at point 3. That means the beginning of the river was wide, then narrow, then toward the end, almost to the delta, the river grew wider again. This pattern did not continue. By the end of the video, at point 2, the river width was 28 centimeters, which was 10 centimeters less than point 3, but 3 centimeters more than point 1.
The shape of the delta never changed. It just became smaller as a result of a few things. The bank pushed forward and the water pushed the delta sediments back. For example, the sediment depth only showed a major change once, near the drain. Also, in sediments 3, 6, and 9, there was never a sudden major increase. It stayed the same to close to the end. Also, at the mouth of the river, the numbers went down more than they went up. Major formation began with the delta starting to grow. Shortly after, the river clearly began to take shape and make tributaries. Then the bank began to form. After the bank was formed, the river started to meander and also widen. Finally, the delta stopped its growth. This happened fairly quickly because of the sea level beginning to rise.
As the river started to widen and the directions of the channels were changing during the test, the floodplain started to decrease in size. In the beginning, before the channels started to change directions, the floodplain was decreasing on both sides closer to the headwaters. However, when the channels start going off in different directions, the right side stopped becoming smaller. The left side of the river was still drawing back because more water was flowing through on that side.
The surface area of the delta is lower throughout the test. In test 1, the surface area was 1,066, and the second one was 1,045. Third 996, and the final was 973. The first test to the second test changed 2%. The second to the third was a 5% change. Third to the fourth was also a 2% change. Throughout the test, the mouth of the river advanced out to the delta, and the delta stayed the same, which caused the surface area to shrink. Also, the banks expanded into the ocean, or the banks eroded, which also caused them to expand themselves into the ocean.
In the future, I think rising sea levels will slowly start to cover deltas. You won't be able to see it, but it's still there. This is happening because as sea levels rise, the deltas do not build up enough to stay above water when it's rising. The rising water levels can cause flooding as well. The Nile River is one example. People live on that delta, and if it floods, people will lose farming land and homes. Let's listen to it.